The Depth to Delve Deep by Rote. Chapter 46 Moat Fort. Rote's determined and destined for the Moat Fort, also known as the Siath Gabra, the shield or defense of the White Mare, at Cornishi overlooking Linaskie, County Fermanagh. He's also jotted down many other Maguire places of interest in his little black traveling book. It's his personal pocket planner. Also aiding his list of sacred seats, Rote's printed out matching pictures of the places he wants to see, just to make sure he can match up what he sees. Those Maguire seats aren't on any middle of the road tourist itinerary, only privy to persons personifying the Maguires of old enough to peruse and then pursue them, or so Rote leads himself to believe. He's seen the one established now at Enniskillen Castle, and he's soon to see the one at Cornishi. The other sacrosanct seats of importance will be found in or around the towns of Linaskie, Swanley Swansea, Tempo, and the Maguire's Bridge by way of Brook Royal. All are within reach in County Fermanagh, Northern Ireland. Rote awakes and sets out on foot to Lisnaskea. He'll scout out the seats sitting above all the rest, a ringed rock realm, a Celtic coronation cairn, the Moat Fort. He has no idea if there's any buses to the town or one to take or direction to go. Does know one thing though, and that's to get up and go and allow all avail to assist him in local. And so he walks out of Enniskillen, hoping a sign will send him in the right direction. And as always, ever the one to approach a stranger in lieu of a sign in need of direction, he does. Now, knowing he's heading in the right direction, he sticks out his thumb and hopes to hurry his way along to the place of prominence. He knows his chances of hitching a ride are hindered by the climate of the county, colorfully construed by his cronies at the convent. Rote recalls how they portray County Fermanagh, stigmatizing it with snipers and such. Ah, it's bandit country. Their brethren back in the time out of the Wanada, medieval Irish mercenaries, and through time have been known as the Molly Maguires. Rote learns how in the 1800s a group of miners in the USA are tagged as the Molly Maguires, and they resist mine owners to form a union. 11 are hung for it. Molly Maguires have their roots in Ireland. In Ireland, they resist the ruling class as tenants in their own land, and so become branded. Rote imagines Maguireism is synonymous with not putting up with shit. Now he knows where he gets it from. From there, his convent comrades make comments on how there are many a Maguire behind the troubles in Northern Ireland. The Brad Pitt Harrison Ford movie, The Devil's Own, depicts the main character, Frankie Maguire, as an Irish Republican Army soldier. A few of the fellows found at the convent have served as soldiers with first-hand experiences in suit, one serving the British muster and the other the Irish cluster in the stripe-ridden Ulster. Ah, the luster of a hidden element of danger, always a plus in Rote's plan, all amplified by a lorry that stopped shortly while on the road leading out of Enniskillen into the direction of Lisnaskea. The half-ton truck stops and the driver reaches across the front seat of the cab, rolling down the window with an acclimate accent. Hey, where be you headed? With that determined, they drive to the town in question while the driver relays his reservations for picking up hitchhikers. In a climate and county that at the best of times is touchy, Rote relays his gratitude for stopping and assures him he's just a traveler exploring some of his hoped-for heritage. They chat some more, though each one respectively is wary of the other. Thankfully, the leery lorry driver drives out of his way, then routed, and brings the mindful Mick in gratitude much closer to where Rote hopes. After thanking him, Rote's relieved that the ride is over, surely feeling as the driver feels, unnerved by the uneasiness in the way they exchange small talk along the drive to where they are now. Rote steps out, leaving the trucker still unsure where exactly his hitchhiker is headed. Rote really doesn't know, himself having just a general gist of the area. Rote stands still for a moment, wondering what direction to turn amidst three rural arteries converging in the middle of County Fermanagh, Northern Ireland. He looks around his surroundings like a lost sheep, bleeding for its shepherd, longing for lineage, like a wind whirling in any old direction. He hopes a sign or someone will come along the way with help. The wind at his back, he walks along a rural road lined on one side with country-style section houses. He notices a couple doing some outside chores while chatting with an elderly woman. Her house almost adjoins theirs. After sensing familiarity with the way the pair chat with their elder, he interposes from the shoulder of the road down to where the sloping front lawn finds them, with an "Excuse me," to get their attention, followed by a "Do you know where the Maguire seat is?" He says it unsurely, for though he has all these fortuitous facts floating in his head, they're up to this point unproven. They look back at him with confusion, not sure if they understand his query, let alone the form of inflection it comes in. Now that he has their attention, he continues to confer in like language, interpreting his own lack of knowledge in Irish idioms and inflections inherent in him, cheerfully. He only confuses them more. Eventually they get the gist when he specifies the Moat Fort rather than the Maguire seat. Now familiar with road search, they respond with a resounding, "Oh, the Moat Fort." So they do so beautifully, rolling the words into one. Rote nods. Understanding they know the seat only by that name and no other. With that, they point him in an opposite direction to the one he deems to be correct. Now, with direction determined, he gives them a good day cheer and chuckle as they part. They leave him with a word to the wise, a colored caution, ye old sign. Look for the big yellow house. Properly pointed in the right direction, he comes to the bellowed big yellow house that's to be broadsided, as in alongside, on a winding road with hedgerows on either side. Soon along the stroll up the hillside road, he can see the seat searched from a distance. There above the surrounding area, previewed already by an overview, it's buried in mind and body by a picture downloaded from the internet. Still a distance from where he is, judging by its dominant domain. The moat fort's import intensifies as he goes along. He seems to have such a grand view of the entire county that any invading force will certainly be spotted far before they know what hits them. He has no doubt the eminent earthen mound sits upon the highest point of elevation in the Maguire chiefdom. He suspects it has served some importance since prehistoric times, and as Rote draws near, he senses himself being drawn back in time. From former times to the time at hand, he draws nearer. It appears the Moat Fort is within farmland, moreover on one farmer's farm, and if Rote wants to take a closer look, he'll have to trespass. He keeps walking past the one farm, presuming to them to be the proprietors of the pasture enveloping the higher plains and plateaus of the area. When he comes upon another narrow little street, he thinks there may be a way of bypassing the farmhouse from the back, perchance the farmer's site. While walking down the narrow rural road, he sees a gate leading through a pasture into another gate lying just below the ethereal earthen mound. There, beholden with great grandeur, is the Moat Fort, adored ancestrally as a Maguire seat of power, proudly providing a panoramic view of the entire emprise. He hops over one fence, then realizes there's a wooden type turnstile at one end. Oh well, on my way back. He hikes up to the next fence and hops over another fence with a similar wooden levered turnstile at one end. They're made to ward off cow passage, not human passage. In this case, it does both, though to no avail as he hops on and over. He dodges a few cows. They obviously have no idea of the importance of the seats, judging by their own earthly mounds surrounding the moat fort. He makes his way carefully. There are plenty of cow patties. The further along he goes, the less he sees or needs to navigate through the moguls of manure. As he makes his way to the top of the earthen mound, he thinks and is thankful the incline is too much for those shit where I like cloven hoof kosher cows. Now up on top of the Maguire mound with a magnificent chief of chiefdom, he circles in on the cairn, centering the crown of the moat fort. He's magnetically drawn deep into the center of the mound. He mulls over the mounted memoriam, marking and magnifying the Maguire's magnitude, crowning the Maguire chieftain and him with a magnificent charge. Rote bows over to the center of the stone-capped cairn and grabs the moss-covered stone, catching his eye. As soon as he has it in his hands, an electric charge is emitted. Like a quickening and amicable amount of instant heat radiates from the rock, right through and into his hand, momentously mesmerizing the Maguire, amidst and admiring it all. Soon he becomes aware of his surroundings. He wonders who's watching. He doesn't want to alert any farmer, let alone the one owning the farm. For that matter, he doesn't want to draw attention from the entire county from Anna being in full view, it seems. He descends down the earthen mound, dodging the dung heaps at the bottom. He walks and climbs over to where he trespasses, hopping over the two fences partitioning the two pastures unaware of an ambush. As he lowers himself down from the last fence, he finds an older fellow standing right there, obviously ticked. Clearly, the older fellow has seen him from his own house, behind the farm. Curtly, there at the end of the gate, you see that turnstile. He gives a noticeable nod of disapproval for the Irish rover's bad behavior. Rhodes immediately gets the point and proceeds to warm up to the elderly man, asking him about the Maguire seat and what he knows of it and such. The fellow friendly enough reaffirms Rhodes' take on the Earthen Mound and meaning and its relevance to the Maguires, though it seems he only wants to usher the rascal onwards in an expeditious way from his and the other farmhouses surrounding the Montfort Mound. He rightly urges Rote on down along the road in a reserved manner, while giving him new directions from the way he initially comes, to go down another road that will save him half the time if he treks it. Rote accepts the guidance and rolls on with barely a nod in their parting. For though the encounter is amicable, there has been a certain amount of tension upon their meeting. Rote takes it in stride, thinking he's definitely trespassed and is thankful to be allowed to continue without calamity. Rote rambles on down the road into a direction deemed. He arrives at an intersection somewhat similar and familiar from his earlier hike up. He wonders all the while if he will fare as well with his hitchhiking on the way back. He has no other means to return. Rote walks along with his thumb out down another rural road. Definitely not the road he comes on with the lorry, a road less traveled. He hopes a car will stop and bring him back to Enniskillen. After an hour along this way, he begins to doubt anyone will stop. The looks he gets from people passing him seem a little perturbed as strangers sticking his thumb out in their neighborhood. He makes it all the way back to Enniskillen several hours later after walking through a rural county from Anna. He's peeved a bit for not doing so well in the hitchhiking department, but nonetheless pleased to have seen the county countryside his aspired ancestry hails from.